I've got to admit, I'm starting to see why you call this place Gentleman's Retreat. It feels like time slows down in here.
That's the whole secret, my friend. If you can't stop time, at least you can slow yourself down.
Nicely said. But honestly, retreat, silence, slowing down, isn't that kind of out of fashion? Everyone's got something playing all the time.
Exactly. Podcasts, playlists, notifications, as if silence was some kind of malfunction. But silence isn't a bug, it's maintenance mode for the soul.
Maintenance mode sounds pretty technical. You mean like a mental reset?
Right. In the old days, people just went for a walk, lit their pipe, opened a window. Now you need an app to tell you when it's okay to be unreachable.
And they call it digital detox, which is just a fancy way of saying I turned off my phone.
Yes, we've started selling Retreat as a wellness package. Back then, every gentleman had his own little sanctuary, study, library, winter garden, a place where the outside world stayed outside. Today, well, the modern version is a bathroom with Bluetooth speakers.
Or the car. I know people who sit in the parking lot after work just to enjoy 5 minutes of peace.
Exactly, and that's already a modern retreat. It's not about where you are, it's a state of mind. A moment when you don't owe anyone a reaction.
You mean when you just don't reply, don't like, don't multitask?
Precisely. When you press pause on the world so you can actually hear yourself again. You know what I read recently? The silence in an old library measures around 40 decibels. An open plan office? Over 70. That's the difference between a glass of wine and a jet engine.
Sounds like a migraine instead of mindfulness. But tell me, what makes silence so valuable? Just because it's rare?
Partly, but mostly because it creates space. Thoughts need emptiness. Otherwise, they just crash into each other. Silence is like a blank page. Only there can something new begin. Or, to put it simply, no pauses, no melody.
Beautiful. Sounds like something a jazz musician would say.
Or a gentleman with too much time to think. Seriously, silence is a luxury because it's voluntary. You have to allow yourself to do nothing, and that's harder than it sounds.
True, the moment you do nothing, you start feeling guilty, like you need an excuse. I'm not doing anything yet, but soon.
Exactly. But retreat isn't escape, it's maintenance. Like tending a garden, not to avoid the world, but to enjoy it more when you step back out.
So, mental gardening then?
That's the perfect way to put it. You pull a few weeds in your head, clear the soil a bit. And sometimes, while digging, you find old roots. Memories you'd forgotten were still alive.
That's poetic. But how do you actually do that in everyday life? Not everyone's got a cozy lounge with a fireplace, you know?
You don't need one. Just small rituals. A piece of music you play every evening. A notebook. A cup of tea you'd finish before checking your phone again. Tiny islands of retreat. Not fortresses of escape.
I like that. Islands of retreat. Maybe I should draw a map of mine. What about you?
Just one spot. My chair, a glass of whiskey, and the sound of rain. That's enough.
And the music, your lo-fi blues mixes?
Of course, but quietly. Music should accompany, not dominate. It needs room to breathe, just like the person listening.
So Gentleman Retreat isn't really a place at all, it's a mindset.
Exactly. A posture. An invitation to check back in with yourself. Maybe we should make it a rule. 10 minutes of silence every day. No scrolling, no talking, no goal.
10 minutes? Most people can handle 3. But okay, we'll start small. How about we end this episode and then actually keep quiet for a while?
Deal. And whoever's listening, join us. Make yourself a cup of tea, lean back, and let the world stay outside for a bit.
Because sometimes life begins right at the moment when everything finally goes quiet.